Okay, well, it's Friday. Now, normally that would mean a mail call, but today was kind of a cluster, and so that didn't end up happening for a few reasons that aren't really that important. But we're still doing a Friday video, just a different kind of Friday video. We're going to do a mix and match of a video on being on Friday and also talking about Insomnia Watch restorations. Oh, but first, wrist check. I am still wearing this 7619 that I brought back from just the depths of horror. It's so cool. It's such a nice watch. And yeah, it's kind of a funky older design, but you know, it's fully jeweled and jeweled lower mainspring arbor port. It's got nice Dane dated hacks. I really dig it. It's part of the things I've been thinking about for upcoming watch project thingies, and I've been on a dress watch kick, so that's what we're going to do. So I want to do an Insomnia Watch rebuild on a watch out of my project drawers. So I'm going through now and looking at a lot of these different watches, and I figured maybe we'd do sort of a, I don't know, pros and cons. Look at these. Okay, or wait, where's that one? Oh, or this one. Let's see. Sorry about that. It's nighttime, but Sebastian busted out and was outside the window of my shop here yelling at me outside the glass, and that's fun. So that all got dealt with. Anyway, so as I said, I've been thinking about dress watches. Like this 6218 is just, I just love this watch. It's a chore for me every day to not wear this watch. You know, but it's got some stiff competition. I'm just amazed. I mean, I've been telling people for over a decade that like dress watches just aren't my thing. I never wear them. And all of a sudden I'm just like, something changed. I don't know what it was, but a switch clicked in my head and I'm down. Anyway, so I love this. And I'm finding all these treasures in my drawers. My watch drawers. Now, so I guess let's discuss possibilities. These two are the same, so I'm going to put that one over there. So we have four different models here, 4 different movement types. So we've got some actual variety going on. So I guess let's talk pros and cons. Let's see if we can get. Okay, so this watch is that's what I want. Oh, that's a little scungy. How does that look? Bad. Let's try it this way then. Okay, so what we have here, so we have 4 choices, 4 different movements. This is a 6106 7510. You don't see these very often. It's from 1968. All these watches are unrestored, by the way. Let me write that number down. 6106 7510. So we have a 6106 7510 JDM Actus. There. All right, so that's the first one. You know, it's amazing the things I didn't know I still had, but I looked at with fresh eyes. This is a pretty. I mean, at first glance for me, this seemed like a pretty, I don't know, not boring watch, but it didn't seem to me to be super remarkable. And plus it's a 6106, and to my mind, those are kind of common. But then I picked it up and I was looking at it. And I was like, something that caught my eye I hadn't thought about before. Normally these have, pretty calm exteriors. They're, pretty restrained. This, though, has an unusual thing. It's got this brushed, polished minute ring track that goes all the way around. This is something that Seiko used to use. They used in the same time period around some of their chronometer watches. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's also, obviously, this is a JDM model, kanji. It's not the higher 23, it's actually 25 joules, which is great. Though stupidly, 2 of those joules are not mainspring arbor joules, which seems dumb to me. It's got this 5-actis thing. I keep forgetting what actis stood for. Some people don't like that. I've never thought about it one way or the other. I think it's neat enough. It's a beautiful dial, isn't it? That beautiful, beautiful dial. Typical, too, also for a JDM watch, not loomed. But, I mean, like, look at the sort of teeter-totter markers there. They've got the high point in the middle. The SS here stands for second setting, and that means hacking. Case is a little beat up, but I could clean that up. Oh, gosh, I'm totally wrong. I thought this is 68. It's not. January 1973. That is a beautiful watch, though. Another nice thing about this particular piece is that, now surprising to me, this has one of the early bonded type crystals, which they were still making for their higher end things. Thankfully, I have the glass, just the glass for this, if I can find it. So there's a trick. You get the old glass out of the metal ring, and you simply put in a new one, and boom, just like that. This watch is going to get worked on at some point. Okay, so that was one option. Okay, so here, next option. I don't even know how long I've owned this watch for. Really, literally, I don't know. All these watches, by the way, are unrestored. Nothing's ever been done to them. So this is a Bellmatic, and this is an early one, 27 joules. 1970. June 1970. There isn't much to say about this. I mean, it's just pretty. And it's, I mean, I can't, looking at, that's the thing, is the other night I was looking at these dress watches, and I'm like, I've had these things for so long, I just haven't looked at them. And I was looking at it, and I was like, this is just an astonishing condition. Again, JDM, you'll notice it's not loomed. That's a really nice watch. And it has the original bracelet. It's correct original bracelet with the extender. This bracelet is really nice. The outer links are solid, and they have this beautiful ergonomic undercut bevel. The one problem with this is I think this bracelet, even with the extender, is too short for me, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I've never had a Bellmatic in my watch box. Never had a Bellmatic in my watch box, so maybe this should be the one. It's neat. God, isn't that beautiful? I can't believe that this, I mean, somebody must have barely worn this thing. Okay, so here's our next option. This is an LM. This is a Lord Matic. This is one of the, both Seiko and Daini had movements that were in this sort of thing, which is where you would have Swiss-style automatic winding, which means you can have reduction wheels, which means the stack height of the movement is much, much lower. You can compare and see how much thinner that case is versus that one. This is the Sua version. This is a 5606. These are really cool. This is original, just like all the other ones. This is original. It's never been worked on. It's been like this with me for, I literally have no idea how long I've owned this. This is the kind of stuff you could find on eBay back in the day. Again, another beautiful white dial. That applied LM and the applied Seiko. These 5606s and their Dynie equivalent, the 5126s, are just, they're capable of really serious accuracy. They can be dialed in tight. So these, just like, well, actually, so pros and cons, by the way, going back to the beginning, 6106, automatic only. Bellmatic, automatic only. 5606, hand winder and automatic. It's highly jeweled. It has mainspring arbor jewels. Again, being JDM, there is no loom. This is one of these models that has this super cool thing where you have this relatively big hour hand with a black stripe, but then the minute hand is literally this very thin baton. Visually, it's super cool. I like the date window for sort of its larger proportions, especially the fact that these outer bits are thicker than these. Absolutely clean dial. It's kind of a cushion case. It's beautiful. Again, though, this is the original bracelet. I would need to clean that up, but it is short, so I have to deal with that. The one thing with these, the one real problem with the 5.6s versus the Dynie 5.1s, these 5.6s have, they have a faulty, they have a materials failure in the date 8 quick set. So you have this quick set lever and it's got a wheel built into it, and the wheel is supposed to, it clicks over and it makes the changes. Problem is the plastic of that wheel over time, just from degradation, shrinks. And so this plastic shrinks and the star wheel just shatters off. I have 7 or 8 in the packet, brand new old stock pieces. They've never installed. Every single one has a broken wheel. So let's see. Oh, look at this one's still got a good one. Look at that. Wow. Isn't that great? Ooh, isn't that neat? Look at that. It's a notch case, too. I hadn't noticed. This one got more wear, but it never got any abuse. I bet the case would clean up really nicely. That's such a pretty watch. And again, you want to talk about slipping under a cuff. These have a real low height. I've had this watch for a long time. Every time I find it, I'm like, ooh, that's neat. All right. Okay. Last but not least, this Seiko Business A. 27 joules, and that sounds great. That's on the low side. This is actually a lower grade movement. The regular one, the 8305 and 8306, are 30 joules. This is an 8346, or 6 denoting date and A. The 8300 movements are an early one from Seiko, and one that they moved off to Orient, I believe. But they're great movements, just like the just like our previous watch, the LM. These are automatic and hand winders, and they have the Swiss style reverser wheels, which means that it's a big complex movement, but it stacks pretty low. Gosh, that is a pretty watch. Look at the angled sides, the bevel on the case. Hey, look at that, and look at those in cuts right there. Inside the case, like that diver. They look a lot better here, though. They just didn't make sense on that diver. Here they make sense because it's to create a visual line. Again, JDM, so no loom. Isn't this pretty? What a pretty watch. Anyway, these are hand winders. The 8300s, they're beautifully jeweled. They're beautifully made. I forget if they hack or not. Okay, non-hacking. Let's kick over midnight and see how it does. language. And these also have the, they kind of have that same Bellmatic number font. I personally prefer the dates in these. Make sure I'm not talking out of my butt. No, they're definitely different, the way that they're put together. This is almost like the same kind of font as like a Rolex Paul Newman. They use those. I prefer this. I think it's a cleaner look. It's the same, actually. Oh man, this is a beautiful watch. Yeah, you see, there's that Bellmatic. You see that Bellmatic 3. And there it is. They're real similar, if not exactly the same. Because there are actually, crazy thing is, there are actually some parts that interchange between these two. These were sort of part of the common thing going on. Okay, where's our last one? Huh, I don't know. So what do you think? Okay, so we have the 6106. We have 5606 LM. We have the 8346. Oh, another problem with this one is that the bracelet on this one is also short. I think I may have mentioned that. I don't remember. 8346 and 4006 Bellmatic. I don't know. This one's really restrained. It's really super conservative, though. I love this watch. I can't believe how beautiful this watch is. I was looking at it the other night for the first time in a long time, and I was just blown away by how beautiful this watch is. But I have very recently restored not one, not two, but three with this kind of dial configuration. I've already got one of that dial configuration. Maybe I'll just hold out until I get a proper, some extra links for this bracelet. Oh man, but that's a beautiful watch. And then there's the Bellmatic. I always do like watches that have a little bit of extra something, you know. I don't know. And so I'm going to say I'm going to continue holding this on until I find, until I find extra links. I'll put that to one side. So now we're down to 3. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Hard to say. What would I really be impressed with looking down on the wrist? God, I really want to rebuild this one. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be one of these two. I don't know. You tell me what you think. You tell me what you think, and we will go there. So we have 4 choices. So we have... Let's just make this easy. Okay. Let's just look at this and think. Think for a second. So we have 5606. We have 6106. We have 8346, and that's a business A. 5606 LM, the 6106 second setting, and the very last option, of course, is our 4006 Bellmatic. Okay, so those are our 4 choices, and I will put those down below, and you guys tell me what you think, and I'll sit here and scratch my head and think. Okay, thank you so much. I forgot one last thing, talking about the Bellmatic. One of the downsides of the Bellmatic is they have a pretty high stack height, but they are easily the highest quality movement of any of these. Bellmatic blows these away. Okay, now I swear I'm done.